Welcome to Pat's Outdoor Adventures. Today we're going to be building this catfish jug. Doesn't look like a jug, but it is. It's a half-inch PVC with half-inch with caps on both ends. We've mounted a eye bolt in this end to attach the line with the hook and everything, and then we have this noodle that we've mounted on here for a flotation. And it's got a weight on the inside. See it slide from side to side, and we'll go through exactly how that works later, but that's what we'll be making today on Pat's Outdoor Adventures. Let's get started.
This is a 5/8 diameter, 3-foot long rod we purchased from Lowe's. Home Depot should have the same thing in their hardware department. We're cutting them roughly. This is to make 15 of them. We're roughly cutting them 2 3/8 inches long is what we're cutting them. We're using a bench grinder to bevel the ends.
Alright, now what we're doing is we've measured, we're cutting our PVC at 24 inches. One thing that I want to say is the first purchase I made was this Schedule 40. You can see how thick the walls are. That's the wrong kind. Needed to just go with the regular thin wall, half-inch PVC.
And the reason is that we're using a 5/8 diameter rod that we cut in there earlier, and in the thick wall it will not fit inside of. You'll have to go to a 1/2-inch rod, and I don't know if you'll have enough weight. So the 5/8 rod fits into the thin wall piping.
All right, what we have, 1/2-inch cap with our eye bolt. You see, with the nut on the end, and what we'll do is we'll silicone it on the inside, around the nut, and on the outside, so water can't get in there.
Now once you put the eye bolt in, you will not be able to clean the inside. So we're not cleaning it, nor are we putting any glue in the cap. We're just doing it all on the pipe itself, which should be enough to seal it off.
Press it on and give it a twist.
Hold it for a minute to make sure it don't push it back off. Okay, now
I'll make a noodle.
Yep, we'll cut a noodle.
What we did on this is, what'd you do? We're gonna make these a foot long. Razor knife works good. Thread it on. Oh, I'm on that wrong. Woo. So when the string is tied down there, it's going to float like this with the weight at this end. So when you catch a fish, it's going to go up, the weight's going to go down, and then it's going to float up and down like that in the water, and that's when you know you've had a hit on it. You can see.
Picking up where we left off, we have the PVC pipe. The end is glued on that has the eye bolt in it. The noodle's on it, and it's roughly 2 to 2.5 inches from the end is where you want to place the noodle. After you do that, put your weight in that we cut earlier. clean it just like you're gluing PVC together, and now we're fixing to glue it.
Oh man, you're leaking all over my table, man.
You want to hold it on pretty good to make sure it dries good. You want to make sure you keep your weight at the other end, because you don't want the glue to get on the weight and stick it inside the tube. So
don't tell Debbie glue got on her table, man. We'll get in trouble. We won't be able to build catfish. We won't be able to build catfish jugs anymore. I'll be banned. All right, that's number 2, huh?
And that is how you build one of the noodles.
Right. Explain to the people exactly why you've chosen, what was it, 3 inches from the...
I have it loaded at 2.5 inches from the end right now. It seems like...
that's the styrofoam, the noodle, yeah, from the end.
From the end, you're looking at about 2.5 inches from the end of the noodle to where the end of the PVC should be inside the cap, is about 2.5 inches. Once you go past 3.5 to 4 inches, when it gets hit by a catfish, it don't want to float standing straight up and down. What it's going to want to do is going to want to lean sideways. As soon as you slide that noodle up back to that 2.5 inch, 3 inch mark, it stands the noodle straight up and down when it's been striked at by a catfish. Okay, the 2 inches from the end, the reason you want to do that is to load it, so when the fish bite it, it'll pull it down to drop your weight. And you want to make sure that there's enough weight on that end of it at first and buoyancy, so the brim, if you have a live bait on it, it will not pull it under enough to get the weight to slide back down, which it will not. And then once your weight slides down, you'll see it'll want to stand up. If we was in a deeper water here, it would stand on up a little more.
Right now, once the buoy's been triggered by a fish, now it's floating straight up and down. So you don't have to check all of them. You can just drive around and see which one's standing up like that. That means that fish on.
It's been triggered.
Been triggered.
Well, we have a small bucket. Used to have utility chain in it. Probably about a 1.5 gallon bucket, maybe a 2-gallon bucket. We took one of the noodles and we split it all the way down the side, so there's no hole at all left in it. It's just that 1/3 of the side of the noodle. Cut it a little long to start with. Then you work it around in your bucket. Butt the ends together so it's tight to get your length. Line it all up, and you drop it down about a 1/2 inch below the lip. And the reason for that is so your lid will go back on. And this is for your leaders on your jugs. You can put your hooks in here and drop your string in to keep it. After you get it cut and fitted to size, pull it back out, put some silicone on it for your jugs.
Keeps everything from getting tangled up. Well, I appreciate y'all being with us today. I hope y'all learned something, and be looking for the next one coming out pretty soon. Thank y'all.